What's going on, ladies and gents? We're back at it again for another episode of Dot Connect Wednesdays. This is episode 66. This one is going to be not a barn burner. It's going to be news, updates, and real estate. So we're going to get into some good, interesting talks for you guys. Without further ado, Steve, how you doing?
Man, I'm good, but this I'm tired of America, man. All right, let's start with these CEOs, mass exodus.
Hmm.
Address that one.
Yeah, let's get into that.
I'm not reading no articles about why they're leaving. I'm just giving you what I feel is happening out here.
Let's talk
Some
about it.
people say it's the Diddy situation's got people up in arms. All right, let me take you down this timeline right now. So companies and CEOs have been around since the beginning of the time. This by far is the worst um, mass exodus ever seen in history before, right? So when you look at Jamie Dimon selling stocks, Zuckerberg selling stocks, Warren Buffett selling stocks, okay, you have to look at that as an indicator, right? These guys aren't selling because things are going to go up. That means that we're due for something crazy. The only thing that's keeping this country up right now, and even China printed money today, the US has already turned we don't even print anymore. It's just they type it in. So let me start with when they start to lower these interest rates, don't think it's a party to go out and just do things with. Because as they start to lower interest rates, what happens? Price of everything starts to go up. So if your money is not increasing, then that means you're taking on more debt because that's what the interest rate is about. It's about debt. It's not about. I get the drift of this, man. Let's not be dumb.
Yeah.
All right. It's an election season, and this is why I'm just over it. Um. Okay. So now for the real estate market, I'm over it. I'm done. I'm looking to sell everything. So if anybody's looking to buy some properties in Detroit, that's in the group, hit me up. Everything's for sale. Interest rate is right where you need it. Let's do business. All right. And one of the reasons why I'm thinking like this is because, like those guys, this is the time to sell some stuff that you don't need. You feel me? This country is positioning us to never own anything, right? Because that's where the independence comes. When you start to own and have autonomy over your time, your health, your thoughts, you understand? That's the most powerful thing that you can do. But because they know that we're a work culture, meaning we work to live, we don't, shit, we live to work. It's just crazy. Like, just over it, man. So listen, cut the interest rates down to negative again. It doesn't matter because the price of everything is going to increase. So how are you going to sustain that?
Yeah.
You understand? Tread lightly. Trust me when I tell you that. Tread lightly. So with the current administration, let's be honest, guys. This Democratic Party has literally had 12 of the last 16 years. Okay. And throughout that, we've been through two administrations that had to deal with a pandemic. So I don't know about you, but before that pandemic happened, that Republican Party, regardless of what you say, right? Because what happens is they cut the social aspect to the economy, which is always going to hit the poor and the middle class because we have the same opportunities they have. We have the exact same opportunities these people have. No more excuses. The information is out there.
Yeah.
So if you're relying on that system to take care of you, of course, you're going to always want that system to take care of you. So just a quick little ride. We have this economy, and I'm not endorsing any one candidate. I don't care for either of them. I've told you that before. So when you look at the pandemic, it created a massive shift in the world, right? The people who created the rules around the pandemic played as if they knew what wasn't going to happen. Right. So we're dealing with people who have 1,000-year plans, who have been doing this since the beginning of time. So they know the effects of cause and effect. Right. So they knew this was a catalyst and a shift to gain back power at this point, because right before the pandemic, what was happening? People were figuring things out. I could tell you that being a, and I'll just say black, but we could identify as whatever, but being black, real estate developer at the time, it was the first time that I started to meet brothers who wanted to do business with each other. Because what the Trump administration did when he came to power was, and this is why I always rock with him, is it brought us together, because we felt like for the first time, we felt like the system wasn't working for us. Right. So now it's like the message around the world I was in was, we are that we got. And somehow that message went away. So I'd rather keep a racist in there to get back to we are that we got. Because all we have to do, we got the information now. We got the know-how. We just got to make things work together. And the thing about these guys is, it's not a matter of black or white. It's just a matter of shit, useful and useless, money and no money. Mm-hmm. So if you want to get money, they'll talk to you. Right. But think about it. It's not that we're not all really going to agree on a lot of things. But the one thing that we do have a common, kind of interest in is just not suffering when it comes down to just the basic needs. You understand? So when you get this pandemic that happens, it throws everything off. So the world shuts down. And what happened? You get the rise of new institutions, rise of new ways of doing things. And then throughout that time, we also started to have a rise of what created Skyton Academy. I'm not new to business. I'm just telling you, Skyton Academy was new to the internet, right? It was a teaching platform. We've never had financial literacy teaching platforms at the abundance that we have now. So hats off to EYL for being the first one to just get it out there, right? I have no issue with that. But what I can say is, you have to entertain to keep people entertained. So that's where I sit on the opposite side of what those brothers did and what those brothers are doing currently. But I get it. You understand? I totally get it. But that's not for every crowd. So I can remember sitting when we did InvestFest, we had a booth space, Champ and I. And I mean, it was like 3 days of hell, in the sense of, there was a DJ right in front of us. It was the electric slide every 5-10 minutes. There wasn't any continuing education. I just paid the money. We set the whole thing up, so we just had to work. But it wasn't conducive to an environment that I came up in, right? Now, I could also remember sitting on, so when 19 Keys and them had BWO, I'm just a student of the game. So I want to see what's happening. If I fuck around and I learn something, then cool. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm sitting inside of BWO, what am I hearing? They open up with music, this, that. It's like a damn concert. And I'm like, I'm not really here for this. And it's going on for like 15 minutes. I just need the information, right? So it wasn't that I even set off to like create something to counteract what those brothers were doing. It was more like, we need something that's going to be led in truth, one. And I'm not discrediting anybody. I'm just telling you that this situation that we built here was not built on entertainment. I'm not here to entertain y'all. We do keep it light because we're regular people, and we just like to let our hair down. So I felt I've done my part in just introducing you to who I am. If you've heard enough of the Dot Connects, you understand my ideology. If you follow me on Instagram, you kind of know a little bit about me, right? So this brand is not an entertainment media company. That's the most lucrative form of business you can go into. Yes, we've been approached by crypto projects to shill y'all. What do I mean by that? They would give us money to sell you on a project that we know won't work. They sold the culture out a long time ago. BWO sold the culture out. A lot of these guys sold the culture out. That's why they won't touch crypto anymore, because if you were inside those groups, you understand that was the rise of the NFTs. You understand? We were the only people that were standing on our core principles, which was to lead in with the foundation and make sure that you have a proper understanding of this technology, not to make money off of you and then make you look away from it. So we weren't highly touted in the industry because nobody wants to do the work. So I'd rather a room full of 15, 16, 17 people than the 30,000 people being entertained. Okay. So first of all, I want to condemn y'all for even, rocking with us, first of all, because to be put in a position where you have to learn at your own pace is not easy, especially the content that we were delivering to you guys. It's not easy to follow. Like if you had to do this by yourself and you had no start point, this is where Champ and I came in 2015. It was actually worse then. Now at least you got CoinMarketCap. That wasn't there. Crypto Panic. That wasn't there. All these dudes connected on the internet for you guys. That was not there. So we had to listen to the projects themselves and them things. And Champ will tell you, they were not easy to read
at all.
And I'll be honest, I didn't go that deep. It was XRP from day one. And then everything else was like, whatever. Because it wasn't built out. We didn't have a DeFi market. We didn't have an NFT market. We didn't have any of this stuff that we have right now. Shit, Solana wasn't around. Right? Maybe they were, but they might have been.
It was around, just quiet. Yeah. Quiet.
Right?
No,
meaning they're just slowly bubbling. So I came into it and Champ came into it with hard work. So our foundation was built on that. So we couldn't really entertain you guys with that whole world. Everything we've said so far in crypto has happened.
Hands down.
Right? Because we follow the real crypto story. So when the NFTs came around, I don't care how much money these guys made. That's like the old street guy talking about what he used to do. That's what it sounds like to me right now. The NFTs are down 110%, actually. Bored Yacht Club, Monkey Face this. Yo, they were messing around with us. And what did they do to capture our attention with the crypto market?
They gave it to the culture.
They entertained us.
Yep.
Eminem, Jay-Z, this, that. Everybody was following suit. Those guys cashed out. They were paid up front. They didn't pay for their monkey faces.
Yeah.
Jake Paul, Floyd Mayweather, like 4 times. Kim Kardashian, like 4 times. I mean, they paid like, what, $3 million in fees, $10 million. That might sound like a lot to us, but shit, they made like 300 M's on these things.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about the culture. Nobody. Clearly, we see what's happening in the music industry. Nobody cares about the culture. So throw the whole shit away. This is that year. This is that year of truth. They call it the year of the Aquarius. Like, yo, all things are coming out right now. This is where we at right now. So sit back, keep your head in them books, and just let this thing do what it do. Because what you're going to see in 2025 and beyond is a rise of new leaders, new thought leaders. You know what I'm saying? People are going to spend less time partaking in what's about to come out, because this ain't even the tip of the iceberg now. So let's get back to these CEOs. So in 2020, when the whole world shuts down, simple math, guys, everything's off. Stock market, everything, you couldn't even fly, right? So if you were in position to have money, this was the ultimate sale. Everything was on sale. So America's just built on insider trading. We're just not connected to the information properly. You understand? So as the transportation industry declines, there was a rise of a peer-to-peer. So this is how I'm gonna tell you why crypto is gonna and blockchain is gonna be the biggest thing ever known to man when it comes down to peer-to-peer. But 94% of the entire world is gonna miss out on what's about to happen. So if you were able to effectively make money having a rent-a-car service, right? You were able to effectively make money in short-term rentals that was taking over hotels. You understand? There was just a shift in human behavior, right?
Yeah.
So as the hotels and the car agencies, airplanes was whatever. right? There was still some things going out. People were still kind of traveling. What you saw was you saw a lot of CEOs that were in just every company was in distress at this point now. So when the pandemic money went out, the people that got the real money were those companies, because what the government, the deal they had with them was, listen, we can float your payroll, just don't lay people off, because if you lay people off, the money, the problem is going to come back to government now.
Right.
So what a lot of them did was they didn't lay people off like that, but they did cut a lot of jobs for sure, right? It wasn't that massive situation. There was a lot of people on unemployment too. So what they did was they took the money, and these were people that didn't even need the money. They went into the market and they bought low, right? And then when it started to turn, now they started to hit us with this the PPP fraud and all that other stuff. And then they started to say, you know what? We'll just give the money back. I knew financial guys that 1,000x loan money that didn't need to be paid back for years. You see what I'm saying? So they did the right thing with it. They didn't need to. So what we did at that time is we educated ourselves. The culture didn't really play with the stock market.
Yeah.
Right. That's new. That was post pandemic. Right. So we got BC. What's the Bible thing? Before Christ, BC.
Before Christ, yeah, and then after
And then
Christ,
what, AC.
yeah.
Right. So the C is for COVID, before COVID and after COVID. That's the two parts in our world.
Whoa.
Nobody remembers anything from the 90s. Like I gotta go back to music to like put myself back in that mode. That's how far removed I am from like anything that happened prior. It literally, I went to Vegas, I came home, and the world shut down. After that, I don't remember anything that happened prior to that, because we just been on this whirlwind. So think about it from a business standpoint. What I decided to do right when the world shut down is I dug into self and my family, because it was the first time that I had time to just not do anything. So that was the rise of the gig economy, right? Clearly, people don't want to go out their house. People are scared to breathe air. You got these new systems that are put into place to say, hey, you could order your groceries from the phone and somebody could just drop it at your door, contactless. Who in their right mind thinks that could sustain itself forever? Now, if you have the bread to do that, then for sure. But I'm watching people, and and the wild part is I'm out there. Like I'll go to the grocery store. I like to do my farmer market runs and things like that. So I'm out there. When I started to see the type of people that were in the store, I'm like, oh, nah, this is different, because
Yeah.
I know exactly where I'm going and what I'm going to get. These people are like this, bumping into each other. And I'm like, I can't live in this environment like this. It was literally like a video game. You hit a wall, they go this way. They didn't know what they were doing. They'd never been in a grocery store before. That's the gig economy. And then I started to go to these stores and I started to look at like the shift in cashiers. I came up as a retail guy, right? Working in the malls, working in just everywhere. I worked at Macy's, Herald Square for Polo. Like I have a rich experience in dealing with customers, and I
Mm-hmm.
took pride in everything I did. Right? We paper folded in Polo. If you ever go to the Polo store, that's one of the only stores that still give it to you how they give it to you. And
Mm-hmm.
even if you're not into it, just walk. If you go to the mall, just walk into a Ralph Lauren store and just see how the presentation is in there. Everything is systematic, folded to a T, right? Now I'm looking at things. There's no bags. You got to bring your own bags. I'm like, this is a $300 jacket. What do you want me to do? Wear it off the store? Like they just pulled this shit up and just giving it to you. So then they hired this team, right? So what happened was now we had a shift from the people that took the pride, right? Because they didn't want to deal with that new customer mindset and what was happening out there. So what they did was that gig economy, the people that didn't used to work, they started to go work now. Now the people that used to work, they went to the internet, right? They used that time to figure things out. This is where you saw the rise of content creators, the rise of TikTok, where people are selling items, just smart work, sitting home, selling things on Amazon, marketplaces, creating things. That's where the whole world went. The whole world went online.
Yeah.
I could remember getting to a point where I was frustrated. I started to get in my garden and I'm like, there's still something about going out. So I said, you know what? Let me be intentional and go into True Value and not Amazon. And when I started to go to True Value, I started to have conversations with people. And I'm like, this is where it's at, because in conversation, I started to learn. Because when I buy something from Amazon, that's it. It's not really talking back to me. It's just giving me what I want from the research I did. But when I went to True Value to buy the same thing that cost the same amount, I met somebody who was, you know, in the what I was entering, and they started to give me advice and sharing of knowledge and tools.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and my wife, she did this the other day. She told me a story of she went to a bookstore. She could have easily ordered it online. But in going to the bookstore, she started to speak to the lady who was at the bookstore. And then that conversation led down a whole another situation where she poured so much into her that then connected some more dots. So the thing about the internet and human interaction is, yeah, as great as the internet is, but when you start to lose human interaction, things start to get a little shifty.
Yeah.
Right. I'm noticing these younger kids now, when you see them, they're even the ones that work in the store, they can't make eye contact with you. They're
Mm-hmm.
looking down, and then they're going to a computer screen that's to order it for you. And I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't come out of my house to not get the product here. And I checked the inventory. So now I got to find myself bagging my own stuff, bringing my own bag, and searching the store for the inventory that I find. It's just dumb. Right? It pains me because I grew up in a time where we took pride. It pains me to see how fast things are shifting and how people are just putting out anything,
Yeah.
anything, and everyone's buying it. And if
Yeah.
it's the most money, you're conditioned to think that it is the best thing. So I'm sitting on this webinar today, this Russell Bronson. So if anybody knows, this is the guy that started this webinar situation. So I'm like, you know what? Let me see what this thing is about. And I was blown away by the marketing tactics. Not that I didn't know it, but to hear it, to witness the things I was hearing, right? It's every generation has to study human behavior. So we just have a whole new human behavior cycle that's happening with the internet. I just didn't comply with the way things are done now, right? So that means that money's going to come in a little slower, okay? Because you have to lead in with value. That's the generation I came from. You lead with value. But now all you have to do is show people that you have something that they're looking for,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you're playing on their emotions or even their inability to move. So you're creating, these verticals, right? So when you look at a stadium, you go to a game, not everybody's experience is the same at that game, right, champ?
Yeah, facts.
It's a little bit
Facts.
differently on the floor, right, champ?
Right. Real talk.
Right? These guys they're like this. When you're up there, they're like this.
Yeah, grasshoppers. Yeah.
So this is how I feel that this is where we're at right now in just society. So back to 2020. It was the hardest time for CEOs, but you got a pass. Why did you get a pass? Because things happened.
Mm-hmm.
Understand, the real estate, every market got wiped out. The court stopped. I spoke to a attorney friend of mine yesterday. I was doing a connecting the dot for a friend of mine. The gentleman's name is Evan Goldberg. So you already know.
Yeah.
But that's my guy. We might only talk maybe one time every 3 years, but it's always, he remembers me. I'll always remember him. He remembers my family. I remember his family. And I asked Evan, he's a personal injury attorney out of New York, right? He's the first attorney to catch. He's able to get money from the correctional industry with slashings in jail. So he's well known, right?
Mm.
That sort of guy. He sues the hell out of police departments, city, you name it. This is the guy.
Ooh.
So I'm like, yo, Evan, so what were you doing around the pandemic? Because we didn't really get to talk. He was like, I wasn't doing anything. I was like, he had a little lake house, right? And I was like, what were you doing for money? He was like, money? He's like, I was living on my savings. I said, okay. So not everybody was having the same experience. There's more story to Evan. So Skyton Academy, and not sharing Evan's story. I just want to tell you that we're not all having the same exact experience, but we're in the same space, right? So 2020 turned into a party for a lot of people because what happened? It was the first time that money started to flow to everybody. Because usually that money supply, no one knew how to get money from banks. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Our only job was to deposit money in banks. They were never giving us not even a $500 limit. I'm just speaking for myself. I can't say everybody else. I'm just saying prior to this capital raise and all that stuff. But then when I started to look at the debt industry, I'm like, oh, nah, this is looking like the real estate bubble back in 2008 and 9. You know, when you start to give everybody access to something, you might want to exit that party right now. You understand? So one of the markets that I've been studying now, so okay, so pandemic closes everything down. CEOs are safe because it wasn't your fault. Now CEOs have money, and then when the market opens back up again, now the Trump administration comes in. Yeah, they took it from, was it Biden and then Trump? No, who was it?
No, it was
Obama.
Obama. Yep.
Yeah, so it was Obama, then Trump came, um, pandemic happens, and then Biden takes over, and then they usher us into the pandemic, right? So I watched a shift in how they were able to control us with just mass media, because it was the first time I had to really listen to the news because I really didn't know what was happening out there. Like this conspiracy theory stuff, this I didn't have that in 2000. I just knew for certain what I wasn't doing
Yeah.
from day one. It wasn't even a conversation about it, right? But in connecting the dots, I also watched the movie during that time, and I'm like, even I was feeling a little bit conditioned the first time I used to just kind of leave the house. And listen, I get up a lot earlier than most people, and it wasn't until they started to shift and say, "Oh, the early times are for the senior citizens," and I'm like, "Come on, man! Like, if I get up at 4 o'clock, I should be able to just get to what I need to get to."
Right.
So I'm coming in the house, and you're wiping things down. You don't know what the hell is happening. I'm breathing. I'm like, damn, I feel all right.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I'm not an easy guy to really sway. So I'm like, this is pretty powerful. Right. So when things start to come, we start to catch our bearings a little bit. I knew, and they said it, they were like, the world will never be the same again. And at the time, I really didn't know what they meant by it. And they were right. The world will never be the same again. So it
Right.
went from working 5 days a week, being able to track people, right? You wake up, take your ride, you get into your office, you go to lunch, you come home. I'm not speaking for myself, I'm just speaking for the general public, right?
Right.
And now it went to no days a week in the office. So I'm looking at the commercial real estate market. I'm like, and I'm speaking to my guys who are in commercial real estate. They're like, Steve, this is about to blow up. And it's still about to blow up because
Yeah.
there's nothing they can do with these offices right now. Right? Absolutely nothing right now. All they could do is turn those into housing, or like New York did. Every hotel went from high end to $300-$400 a night to shelters,
Shelters. Yeah.
right, for the homeless and the migrants. This is what's happening right now. So I'm watching. I'm connected to a lot of different industries because of the line of work that we're in. Not only for the academy, but just personally, I have invested interest in understanding the real estate market. So as I'm watching all this, and I'm catching the data from my guys who are in corporate America. Corporate America has all the information. So they're telling me exactly what's happening. So the information that corporate America has, it doesn't flow to us until it hits us in the head. So I already know all the causes and effect about what's to come right now. It doesn't matter which administration this is. Neither of them could save what's about to happen in America, which
Yeah.
isn't a bad thing. It's just it could totally level the playing field if people are positioned with the right information. Right? So there's a reason why Babylon is crumbling right now, right in front of us.
Hmm.
There's a true reason why this is happening. Don't get too wrapped up in the nuances of what's going on that side. Just know that it's just all truth coming out right now. Everything you're hearing right now, and yeah, I peeked into it. I'm not oblivious, but I was in New York at the time. That shit's been talked about since the 90s. It's not new. Everyone knew about this, right? So if you knew Wendy Williams, she was the first tin hat person,
Facts.
right? So this is all old news right here, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knew exactly what was going on. I was part of the entertainment industry around that time. Not like that, but I was definitely putting some products out, walking up in labels, getting the door closed on me because I was just too smart for the craziness. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say now we're watching the shift in industries, the shift in the way people do business. Now to get back to the CEO situation, Nike stock down, right? Today I see a press release and Jaylen Brown, who's the reigning MVP of the NBA,
Yes,
the
sir.
guy that they didn't allow to go to the Olympics. Say what you want. Kyrie Irving and Jaylen Brown were supposed to be on the world stage. period. Then yesterday I find out, so the same time that I find out Jaylen Brown comes out with his own sneaker now. So he's like, you know what? It's time for us to have our own equity in this. And I'm all about that. I'm all about equity. I'm not about asking people for permission my life matters. My life matters. That's the obvious. I don't ever have to utter those words. So that movement, I watched that shift the culture in the way that things happen. We went from not wanting to be near each other to millions of people marching in the streets. And I'm like, oh, we pretty powerful for the things that we want to be powerful with.
Right.
So I'm going off bit a little bit, but it's fine. I'm gonna bring it around. So today I hear that the doctor who was in charge of the architect to NYC COVID response, that doctor, he came out, they caught him on tape. People been sitting on those tapes, but basically on the tape, he said he was the one personally responsible for making sure that Kyrie Irving didn't play in any Brooklyn Nets game because he went against what the agenda was when it came down to the vaccine. We clearly knew it. Now we see it and we hear it with our own ears. This ain't even like a deep fake video. And I'm like, AI doesn't even need to AI could just go away. This is how crazy it is. They're saying the quiet things out loud. They're slipping up on their tongues, not by purpose, just because of the times that we're in right now.
Yeah.
The more they talk, the more truth comes out.
Yeah.
Right. So the doctor is the architect of COVID said he personally put Kyrie on that bench, and that man stood on it. He stood on it. Nobody ever apologized to him. He's still paying for that now because those are modern day lynching. Because if you start to champion a guy like that, it starts to build other champions. Y'all get what I'm saying? I watched the whole world turn on him, even his own teammates.
Sure, whack.
Listen, if this is a fence and there's two sides of it, you kind of already know where everybody lands. There's no middle ground anymore. It's the same land. So I'm not dividing myself from people. I'm just telling you there's two sides to this fence. You kind of know where everybody lands right now. Right? So I like this time period in history because there's no longer gray zones. I like black and white. And I'm not talking about race. I just like black and white. You know what I'm saying? So two of the biggest sports figures at the time, and even Jaylen Brown now, who didn't get on the world stage as he just won the NBA championship and got the MVP. So he's the biggest face. So if anybody knows anything about basketball, when you have anybody that wins a championship is championed around the world. Like you go to China, you open up a mass market around the world. This brother doesn't have that opportunity because he's outspoken. He's just all about telling you about the inequalities and telling you what he's going to do. He's not going to talk about what needs to be done. All right. In 2025 and beyond, there's going to be those sort of guys. And I'm going to tell you now, you need to start not only protecting those brothers, but you need to start supporting those brothers. Right? Because even watching the brand Nike and how it's losing its luster and everything, to never spend money with that company again, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. Every single empire has crumbled since the beginning of time, and we're watching it happening right in front of us. So I told you, I'm personally working on a green book, right? I'm talking about the real green book, not the one that, we had to know, the one that calls out certain situations. And when that's connected to that, we don't move. And I'm not saying we never have to do business with certain people, but we have to be mindful of who we champion. Because when you start to give these corporations and institutes your money, and then they're investing in things that are our demise, we damn near chasing our tails right now, just for validation. My son doesn't care about what sneaker or what, but he's not invested in that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to get like Kyrie's situations right now because he's not with Nike, and Nike owns 90% of the shelf space in every single one of these stores.
Thanks.
So I don't like what I'm seeing right now, but because of the energy of the world, everybody's kind of paying for it that has done wrong to people. You can't value one person in one sense and then do something in the other sense to undermine them. And we're just not smart enough to see what's happening, even if we put the information right in front of us. This is how powerful this marketing machine is in this country. I'm over it. So this mass exodus with the CEOs. What's happening right now is, and it's weak. Those guys, that's weak leadership, right? Because what they did was they went after, what's that situation, the ESG?
Yeah.
The government funding, right? So if anybody knows about that, and correct me if I'm wrong, YouTube, I'm sure you guys will light me up. This is government money that's tied to social agendas. So you as a company, you need the money to float, to be able to innovate, to be able to hire, to be able to innovate, right? So they tell you, well, champ, you take this money, but you got to be able to do X, Y, Z. Yeah. So that was the rise of, we don't even know if we coming or going, he, she, they. I'm still trying to figure out all this stuff. And I'm like, why am I even having to think about this right now? Right? 3 bathrooms, 4 like, what are we talking about right now? So the reason that it was so popular is because every corporate institution today had to really sign up for that. For what? It's one thing that they have in common, and it's that capitalist mindset. Nobody went against it. So I made a short list of people that have been going against it. Grant Cardone, he goes against it, right? And then I'm starting to see some guys on the other side of the fence, like a Mark Cuban. I'm like, wait a minute. What's happening here? So we're at the right time and place, because I'm not looking at this. I'm calling it more of the great divide right now, right? People are caught up between 2 people that look different and sound different, but I'm more so like, this is the type of game I like to play right now. Okay. So we have an opportunity as a country right now to bring manufacturing back here. You understand? You have one administration that's saying, hey, we're going to tax China. And this is what he did. In those 4 years, he taxed China. They have to pay their just due. But then the other side turns around and says, well, if you tax China, that means the cost of goods is going to go up. No, if you create opportunity here and you keep the incentives here, we open back manufacturing here. You understand? Because all you have to do, all Americans have to do is just make more money. And clearly the money's here, but it's only going to a few people. Right? So understand this, even if you tax every single billionaire, it still wouldn't close up the problems that we have right now. Right? So let's say even if you tax them 80%, it wouldn't help your situation at all. And think about it. These are the most powerful men and women in the world. So if you want to play the game with them, you know what they do? They just cut the staff. You can't force a private guy to hire anybody. This is why you see the rise of automation. You see where I'm connecting this dot right now? So when you got, what's that, 23andMe? I told y'all stay away from that.
Yep. You called it.
I told y'all stay away from that. The entire board walked off. That's never been done before.
7 of the 8 members.
The entire board walked out of that company when that CEO came on board. That company was sold to the money guys. That company is a pharmaceutical company now. They have every bit of data and DNA given by everybody who wanted to know what part of Africa they were from. So I'm hoping y'all got enough of that information, because you might want to go get passports to go there. That's the only good I can see coming out of that.
Yeah, that's a wild situation. I definitely.
Okay. Guys, this CEO mass exodus is really just paving the way for this is just a new guard that's about to be handled now. And I tell you that this crypto and this blockchain situation, it was really put here to be a peer-to-peer movement. So was the internet. But what they find ways to do is they find ways to centralize, decentralized systems that no one has ownership of. And I'm watching it happen in cryptocurrency right now through the use of Bitcoin and ETH. I don't care what you say. Those are centralized coins and tokens. YouTube, debate me. Put in the comments and let's have a debate. Because you're not going to go as deep as I'm going to go. Because I see way further out than you. There's no piece of technology that the government has not played around with 10 or 20 years before it was even put out. So you watch the CEO from Telegram, what happens to him? He lands his private jet in France, boom, pick him up, he's arrested. Not even 2 weeks after that, you don't hear anything else. And all you hear is, oh, he's out. And then you can he's willing to give the information up. Yep. CZ, the owner, ex-CEO of Binance, had to step down. He was supposed to go to jail. Come on, CZ, he ripped out so much money. CZ's coming home in 4 days.
He outside. Yep.
He's back.
He back to it. Yep.
Do Kwon, he's public enemy #1. He had warrants out for him all over the world. This guy was able to not only steal $1 billion, but he did it 3 times. It was all about controlling the technology. That's it.
Yep.
Now what happens? You didn't see Jamie Dimon. You didn't see BlackRock. You didn't see Vanguard. You didn't see any of these guys meddling inside of cryptocurrency. If anything, they were talking the opposite because they were architecting the takeover the whole time.
Yep. Building the infrastructure. Yep.
So I'm telling you this right now. If y'all want to get money, you guys better be in cryptocurrency. I promise you that. Because the dollar's dead. That old way of doing business is dead. Listen, you got 1 point. What's bomb on them, champ?
Yo, so I'm gonna bring it back slightly. Steve touched on the exodus of the board members from 23andMe, right? I won't put this in context because one thing he didn't mention is this. So 7 out of those 8 board members stepped down. Do you know who the CEO is married to? The CEO of Google. So now that everybody's data is now outside, right? Or given to the biggest player. One, they could take our genetic material, sell it to the biggest purse, right? They can create targeted marketing and advertising directly to everybody based on their genetic makeup. So now you can create medicines. You could determine whether you want to give somebody a policy or not. All of this stuff, right? Then take it even further. Some people are predisposed to certain diseases or diseases than other people. And you can create those type of products where only a remedy is available to only a certain type of genetic marker. Crazy, right? Now,
and not only that, but you're just talking about the solution.
Right.
Well, what problems do you think they can cause in genetic markers that know exactly who you are? Outside of that, they already had the data anyway. Our DNA sheds everywhere we go.
Yeah.
Right. But now we're talking about we allowed them to harvest it.
We gave it to them.
You paid for it. Somebody put in the comment how much those things cost. I never even went to those websites. But let's be honest. What was the price of that? 1.3 trillion asset manager Franklin Templeton plans to launch a mutual fund on the Solana blockchain. So when we charge you $6.95, $9.95, $2.95, $3.95 for the 1% projects, that's not worth it?
Absolutely.
Price is going up. We in fourth quarter right now. Price is going up. I'm telling you, I got 3 more months to play with y'all in this situation, and then it's over. The next administration brings in the regs. Once that opens up, I'm no longer teaching cryptocurrency anymore. I'm done.
Go time.
Yep. You guys see where the pivot is going at the academy right now. Now I want to build just a group of thinkers, a group of individual thinkers, a group that can do for self, a group that's not going to go out there to give the money to other organizations that don't have our best interests in mind, right? A group that wants to not only grow wealth, but preserve wealth, right? A group that's going to feel comfortable enough leaving this country to get paperwork in other countries. Like, this is what's coming first quarter next year. Damn. So I got 3 months to play around with y'all with this cryptocurrency situation. You got 3 months to bring your friends and family members in here before everybody is locked out of this game. $1.3 trillion. That's one asset fund manager that's setting it up on one blockchain. And we know that blockchain. I made the call at $22. Do with the information what you want to do with it. The market, that's half the market cap today. There will be about $500 trillion in this market before the end of next year, once the regs come in. Think about it. Do the math with the projects that you're in right now. Stay tight to the academy, right? Stay tight to the academy. Trust me when I tell you this, because at the amount of wealth that all of us are going to amass, if positioned properly, this is 1% talk right now. So for my guys that's in it, we did the portfolio management with y'all. Y'all position nice. We're going to we're retooling it. So for the second half of this call would be that. But I'm just telling you, $1.3 trillion, one asset fund manager, one blockchain. They are going to tokenize everything. So once you tokenize everything, it's like hitting the reset button on the nasty work that they put in. They are done with that whole old industry right there. So I don't care. All them guys that's playing the stock market and doing all other stuff, thinking they making all this money. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Let's see. Because 3 years ago, when that Forbes list 30 under 30 came, 29 of those people were crypto and tech related. So let's see how the world changes.
Facts.
So when you see Bill Gates, who's he chummying up with right now? OpenAI, Sam Altman and those boys. That's the biggest mistake they're going to make. That's why I started the AI group, because I've already seen the vision and what those guys are trying to do. So out of Bill Gates' own mind. So when you start to see the old guard hanging around with the new guys, just know that those are their pets. Those guys have always lived to work with these guys. They're enamored by them. So the same way we're enamored by entertainment and we're about to be off that, watch the play with those guys on that side. And if I'm going over your heads on this, y'all missing a lot of information right now. A lot.
Yeah.
You're not going to hear this on other platforms like this. And I'm talking about the platforms where they look like us. They can't connect those dots. They're still in the stock market. That's dead. That's dead. 1.3 trillion, half the market cap in one fund. That's only going to tokenize one thing. And they have many verticals within their businesses right now. So when I tell you that there's an economy that's about to shift and it's about to go to blockchain technology and y'all still don't believe me, I sounded dumb and crazy 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Actually, 2015, forget it. They'd be like, man, that dude Steve is tripping.
Tripping. Yeah.
Now they coming around. Some of my friends, they're like, yo, what's up with that XRP? I'm like, I don't know. They hit my phone when there's a glitch. They're like, yo, I saw there was a glitch on it. I don't know. Change your phone number soon. Trust me when I tell you that. Get that Solana phone and stay off them apps, because this is where it's about to change. So the whole Google, the App Store, all that stuff is about to change. The selling privacy of data and all that stuff is done. If you want to play in that game, then you could partake in that. All this Zoom situation in 2026, 25 beyond, that's done. I'm not going to be on these platforms no more. Anybody that's signed to the old agenda, there's no point in working with them right now. Because when you're on Telegram, you know, you could send money peer-to-peer, cryptocurrency on Telegram. It wasn't about illicit activity. The whole world is built on illicit activity. It's because you could send cryptocurrency through Telegram and WhatsApp in other countries. We got a kid we work with. He's from Nigeria. I pay him in Solana. These third world countries are adopting cryptocurrency over you guys. I damn near left Skyton Academy to set up a Nigerian arm. They'd be like, I'm done with these Americans, man. They just don't get it. I'm giving y'all 3 more months and I'm shifting this shit globally. I'm done. And so, yeah, listen, get in, position yourself correctly, because when I tell you, it's not, the link ain't even going to be in the bio anymore, because the bio ain't going to be up. Because the money's just going to hit differently. And I'm not going to be in a mall spending money. I'm going to be building every plan that I put in action in place. Everything I have in my database of I got books and folders of and written. Man, listen, I could sell NFTs before the end of time with the ideas and concepts that I had that were too early because gatekeepers were controlling too much. So since 2020, I not only seen a shift in the economy, I not only seen like every single thing just digressing around me, the way people interact with you, the way they're not interacting with you, the way that we can't just agree to disagree, the way that, you know, a news cycle could just like turn us on each other and not respect the fact that we have free will. If none of us are free, you know what I mean? If one of us ain't free, none of us are free. So now you split the baby, you do this massive testing and you realize that, yo, 42% of the population is not complying. So now it's phase 2. Y'all ready for phase 2? That's the digital passport. That's the vaccination passport, digital ID. Remember the digital ID, they pushed back like 3 times on us already. It was supposed to be October of 3 years ago, right? They keep moving it. Does anybody know what the digital ID is? We got a course coming up in that. And it's not going to be on YouTube. We're not doing none of these talks on YouTube. We're not doing Zoom. We going decentralized. And if you get on the call, you get on the call. There is no re-recording. I connected with a major player when it comes down to like just how to move around the world, how to get certain passports. Yeah, I know that shit is heating up. Every time I post something expat, everybody is like looking to be crazy. Think about this. In the prior to the pandemic, we would go to vacations in certain places, right? In certain countries. Every time you land inside of a country, you see wealth all around you? No. From the time you hit the airport, that's why them hotels pick you up in private shuttles. They ain't trying to have you navigate those streets and do all that other stuff because it's going to show you exactly what's happening in these countries. The instability in the world created stability for us in America. Y'all starting to see instability in America, instability around the world? I just told my wife today on the drop, I said, yo, the only thing and the only people I speak to that aren't feeling like this low are everybody that moved abroad right now that I'm interviewing. And those are the only people I like to speak to right now. Sisters that left Atlanta and they went to Colombia and they're like, life is excellent out here. I'm like, what? You know, when I interviewed a girl from UK, if you didn't go on there, go to the expat life situation. She's like, listen, when you move out of America, you start to realize that America's on an island.
Straight up.
We don't get the world news in America. You understand? Now, the more I start to research countries, I start to see like, oh shit, they rooted in principle. They always kind of told us, oh, they treat black people, whatever. They sold that story to those people because every museum and every church that you go into, every statue is black around the world, but here.
Yep.
So they hate black people? No. They just move in accordance. You just have to respect the rules. That's it. And it's really just religious rules at that point. My guy from Nigeria, I speak to him today. He was like, they know everything that's happening. I said, America is similar to Nigeria. He was like, the only thing here is you just have to just not talk about government. Same thing with Haiti, the country my family's from. You can do whatever you want. They leave their citizens to do whatever they want. The problem here is when we talk about government, they squeeze us. Right? They not only squeeze you, but they unalive you.
Yeah.
Every single body I'm speaking to that has moved to multiple countries are telling me they have never been the happiest ever in their life. And they were leaving major cities. This ain't like, oh, they sat in Wisconsin and no, this ain't secondary markets. These are big markets.
Big market, yeah.
We're going to drop something on the second half of the call. We're going to give you our fourth quarter schedule. Everything, Champ and I are laying down everything in the beginning because after that, I'm done. I'm done. Money Mike, I'm not pushing bears up trees no more. I'm done. It's all execution from here on out. Y'all want to learn how to make money? All right, we're going to sit here. We're going to learn how to make money.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, get your crypto bag in position. Go back to the cold storage wallet. You're going to see, when you see the next plan, we getting back into the classroom again. I got 3 months with y'all. Okay? And then you're going to see some other pivots. Today, there was an auction that I really wanted to get to. I kept saying real estate month, real estate month, real estate month. Now that the interest rate is low, everybody thinks they can go back in real estate. No, understand that depends on what administration. If they pass that unrealized gain situation, it is going to affect all of us because if you're not in the money game, then you wouldn't care because they know that 99% of the world in America just ain't in the money game. So it's like, yeah, tax the rich, tax the rich. It's like, but don't you want to be wealthy? Listen, when you tax them, they're only going to take the job away from you. And that's what they're doing right now with automation. Right or wrong?
Right. 100%.
I hope I'm not going over your head, man. I circled it back just to make sure I covered some things. But for those who know, they know.
Yeah.
So now we get back to these CEOs again. It's not a CEO problem. It's a company problem. It's an institution problem. They have disconnected from people because they sold us out for some money to sell us some shit.
Right.
That's it. The plan didn't work. Now the truth is coming out. We haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg yet. Strap up. Trust me. And then when I talked about that hard landing, because I had to go to my account, that crypto, it sits flat. So when you look at your account, that shit could sadden me some days. So I'd rather not look at it. I'm going to be honest with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm speaking truth now because y'all
Yeah,
shaking your heads. You
100%.
understand what I'm saying? Shit can
100%.
go from X amount to like this amount. And I'm like, I don't like that, but I know why it's happening. So I tend to just like avoid my own crypto account. We got some new cold storages that just hit the market. You understand? There's gonna be an attack on cold storages. Mark my words. Pancake swap, sushi swap, swap meat. All of it is dead. You understand? All of that stuff is dead. In the cold storage situation, why you heard Obama, he talked, right? He says, why would we allow people to walk around with what's that bank? Swiss bank in their
Bank
pockets.
account? Yeah, in a pocket. Yeah.
This is from your most favorite president. And he's talking on this, not even as president, just as a puppet. Want to kick that dude, man. Pay them guys no mind. Trust me when I tell you that. He articulates well, he does whatever, but he is King Kong in this situation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He is put here to iron things out. His only mandate in those 8 years was to open up Africa. And those young African leaders are starting to revolt and they starting to take over government. It's that old African regime you got to watch out for. They're the same as the people that's the Stacey Abrams, the Kamala Harris's, all of them. Be careful. The next administration is going to take us into 2030. They're going to set the agenda. Listen, man, I'm kind of happy that Supreme Court is on that conservative side, for sure. Yeah, I just caught up in the race thing. Nobody's tripping on race. When was the last time you was called something? And if you're driving through them backwoods of those places, I don't be over there, so I don't even care about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know the last time I was really disrespected. I move in accordance. You understand? I've switched up my energy and I don't attract that sort of energy. And if I do, it's met in accordance. Swiftly. With respect. Until it's not. Yeah. And if we can't all move like that, they will have us picking cotton again. Digitally picking cotton. I want to quit on America so bad. So bad I want to quit on America, man. But I love people too much to start to acquiesce to like new society right now. We not put here to stay here. You understand that? Because every time we get some money and we go on vacation, who is going on vacation locally? If you had the real choice, and we're not talking about Miami, that's dead. Right? It's a big world out here, guys. It is our playground. So yes, when you start to move around with a Swiss bank in your pocket, that should be the way. Fuck. God, I want to choke him. And not him. Just choke something. Doesn't everybody want the independence to just move how they want and not have to like work to make ends meet? Y'all not tired of this? The only people, I repeat again, the only people having a good time that are Americans are the ones that are living outside the country that decided to do the research. And when they went and they landed, they are having a good old time. Because every single one of those countries are starting to break away from American tradition. And there's countries that don't even, Portugal is like one of the #1 destination spots in the world for people to move, right? When you talk about quality of life, cost of living, just all things. And they're telling you they don't want Americans to come in there. Now the price of passports is going through the roof right now. You got Brazil. You can't even travel to Brazil without them asking you, verifying what's in your bank account. You kind of see where this thing is going? So now we adopting some new age dudes that's coming into this country right now. And you telling me that we don't have a migrant issue? I know this thing firsthand. Champ knows this firsthand. My wife and I keep telling y'all we own a real estate brokerage in New York where we house the homeless. It is affecting things. People are coming in by the boatload. They have cruise ships are being used for shelters right now. Yes, none of that stuff is a lie what they talking about. They are giving these people access to money. There are people, blacks, that are selling their businesses right now to move out the country, and they're selling them to Hispanics that have the money. That ain't right. I've watched this company skip over us every single time, man. Every time they skipped over us. And I'm not asking for reparation, just opportunity. And not for you to give me opportunity, for me to create opportunity, and you stay the fuck out the way.
Straight up.
Because we playing within the rules. I keep telling y'all, the key to this crypto and this blockchain situation, we told you from day one, is we just have to find the back door. That's it. They will never build something that they cannot get out of. But they when they do build those things, they don't go partake in those things. These people taking fake shots on television, the needles all bent out of shape. Like, what? And then on top of it, the reason I know that this is true is because the government was the only agency that wasn't mandated. Doesn't leadership start at the top?
Yep.
So let's talk common sense right now. This North American continent with Canada being up there, dead. And then Mexico now got a Jewish president. So you could just take this whole shit right here and throw that shit out. They went and put a mole in Mexico. A Jewish president in a Spanish country?
Wow.
Ah, come on, man.
It's your bank business, man. That's what that is.
Am I missing something?
Yeah, that's wild.
All right, so here's the agenda. We're gonna do the preparedness situation because we just have to be prepared, right? And if it never happens, guess what? It's just water. You know what I mean? It's just extra goods here and there. That stuff is gonna be worth money too, because what they do, the minute they create a problem, they create a shortage.
Every time.
Ever wonder that? The minute they create a problem, they create a shortage.
Yeah.
For all my people that's from the streets, y'all know what I'm saying, right? You know what the short is about. Nothing is not of abundance in this world. So you know what the short is about. Somebody controlling the money supply right now.
They controlling it.
That's it. Because we were smart enough to be able to order this from China, order that. And that's what the tariff and stuff is about. Oh, they felt like, oh yeah, they can gain their little independence and work from home and play around on the internet. Okay. How's that going? How's them Amazon stores going? If Americans start to run out of money, it affects everything that we do. Every business, everybody's affected. Restaurants are now, man, I got restaurants around me closing at like 8 o'clock. Not opening Monday, Tuesday, opening Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Facts.
Sunday.
Yep. Facts.
Shorter hours. So now we bringing in automation. I'm looking at the food supply situation and I'm like, oh shit. Every single food factory has been burning down for the last 5 years. No one's been talking about that. They let us know about it, right? Because that's what they have to do. That's how wicked these guys are.
Yeah.
So now what do? I'm back on my farmer market tip again. You know what I'm saying? You go from, $5.99, all this organic stuff in these mass marketed places. It just ain't organic, man. Because my farmer's market, they don't have packaging. So now you have to look at you have to know who the source of your food is at this point now. Bill Gates said the other day, and this is on the AI tip, he said it out of his mouth. This ain't even deep fake. This is what I'm saying. Deep fake don't even matter because we live in it. He says he wants to find a way that when it comes down to the vaccines, anybody that's putting out disinformation, the AI can quickly run through the internet and take all those things down instantly. That's what they're looking to use AI for. But why he can't wrap his head around it is because he didn't create AI. So he's leaning on Sam Altman and them. I want to pick them dudes too directly, right? So he's leaning on them. That's the agenda, is to control the information. So when you guys start typing into these things, that's why we started the AI group, to make sure that you're pivoted properly in this situation. You don't just put every trade secret inside that thing. More than 99% of the people don't even know how to even properly put prompts in, because this is the first prompt. And this is the second. And that's the third. So if this is disconnected to this, then your information is going to be disconnected.
Straight up.
That's why I tell you, we just need our own shit. And then you need somebody, then you have to create a decentralized model because you can't bring anybody to court when there's no owner on paper. So every single top crypto CEO is either in jail or dead. Think about that. How many dudes in their 20s and 30s have died that have had crypto blockchain related projects? So you telling me we're not on the right path right now? They're going to let the first round of people get wealth with cryptocurrency because it's not a whole lot of us, guys. They keep saying they report 11%. That ain't 11%. 11% ain't positioned properly because I know everybody's only talking about Bit and ETH. And I don't even care if they run Bitcoin up to $1 million. So what? You got one Bitcoin, they got to $1 million. So what? What's $1 million 2 years from now? What's $1 million right now? These dudes, they vacationing for $1 million and just out on a yacht for 2 weeks. If y'all want to play the money game, you got to really understand the money game. And if you're not talking about cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, then you're not really playing the money game right now. Because they're going to devalue the money, right? They're going to take the stuff out of circulation. They're going to then tokenize it. And then at that point, all systems are going to be connected. And at any time, and if you look, there's a report, we're going to do a masterclass on that. The WHO organization just dropped a report. Listen, you know, the WHO organization, these guys, they're 193 countries. Now we have to look at all the countries now. You understand? The one thing about a lot of countries is you could stay off grid. They're not as whatever as here, right? You start to farm here, you violate a whole bunch of rules. Every other country you go to, you could freely buy fruits, or not even buy fruits. You could pick fruits from off the street, right or wrong.
No problem.
Islands, right? Yeah. Ask yourself, how come we don't have any fruit-bearing trees here in America? Anywhere. It's all female trees here. They don't bear fruit. Ask yourself that. We should be able to eat fruit in abundance. We had an apple tree. There's like an industrial park behind us, and you could kind of walk there. My wife used to do the walk, and she used to see the apple tree. Yeah, apples used to fall. Nobody was doing anything. Yo, they went one day, and she came home. She was distraught. She was like, yo, they cut the apple tree. It was an office building. I guess they got tired of it. It's like, yo, pick up the apples and eat it. It's a big ass apple tree. I never went back that way again. It probably would have pained me too to see that. They cut the apple tree. So now you're cutting off the food supply. They're going to charge you for, I told you this before. I thought it was a joke. They're going to charge you. They're charging for sunlight now. Y'all seen that? A whole situation now that they're working on. Think about it. You can't think that this technology is not that smart because they're doing cloud seeding in Dubai.
Yeah. And that's a war tactic too. But yeah, different.
So when Bill Gates tells you, yeah, we need to cover the sun, the sun gives life. The sun gives life. He's trying to find a way to cover the sun, and y'all want to trust something that this guy is giving you? This is the same guy that gave us technology and gave us the virus protection and created the virus.
That's a bar.
Let's think about it. If you're not old enough to understand that, this is the same guy that gave us technology, gave us the computer, he gave us the viruses, and then he gave us virus protection. Y'all remember that guy McAfee? Mm-hmm. Go Google him. McAfee fucked around and fell on some information. Y'all remember the guy Snowden? Go Google him. Snowden fucked around and found some information.
Oh, he hit his bag today. Let's go.
So y'all worried about who y'all voting for? And the entire system's corrupt? Y'all better bring your ass in these classes when we have them. It's straight up. That's why I took us off of the Discords and all that other stuff. So I don't want to hear no complaints about the system. It's just more of an internal system that just keeps us in here. Because you remember Discord, it started getting weird. Fake pages, fake champs, fake Steves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people getting burnt down, fake accounts on Instagram and stuff like that. They're allowing this stuff to happen.
Yeah.
Have we had one fake person inside the academy yet, champ?
Nah, not a one.
So if I can't control my own identity within something that we're building together, then what good am I at this point now? Fourth quarter is all about setting up the systems. Guys, trust me, you're not going to miss nothing. You won't miss anything. You could scroll 5 minutes and it'll give you all the information in a couple posts that you see. It'll be out there. Don't spend too much time on it. Get inside of this AI situation, understand how this technology works, just so you can position yourself correctly. You understand? This is the second coming of the internet that is way more powerful than the internet. It's way more powerful than the internet. But what I'm the part that I want to really land home with y'all is we will soon, and I'm not saying all of us, but the situation here, we don't have autonomy over a lot of things we do, and we're just starting to realize it. I'm just starting to realize it, and I've been a serial entrepreneur for a very long time. And even when I worked, I was always an independent thinker. Always. I had short-lived jobs. It was never careers. And that's when I was younger. And after I made the pivot out of college, that was it. It was full-time from there. So I say that to say, you know, we talk about the maintain, right?
Minimize.
Right. And then the final thing is the monetize.
Yes, sir.
So in the academy now, we're going to start shifting to that sort of situation now. There's nothing more we could teach you about cryptocurrency right now. And when I say that, meaning the table's kind of set. Yes, we're looking at some new projects for the 1% group. For sure. We might take a couple off the current one and come back with that. But for the most part, from what I've seen with the portfolio management, our 1% guys are positioned correctly. Now, nice. Let's attack this other end here. You have to look at the guard. The guards are changing right now, right? So what we need to pay attention to is we need to pay attention to what is emerging right now, not what's crumbling, right? You have to look at the emerging markets. So this is the first time in history. Think about it. If you think about any sports player, everybody has to be signed to either one or two companies. Now we started to have Under Armour, this one, they started to let in a few more.
Yeah.
Right? Even though Nike controls 90% of Champs and Foot Locker and all, they have 90% of the shelf space there. You understand? So that means that even people with the most talent don't have any control over their likeness. So now you give these college kids money. What do they say? They call it name, image, and likeness, NIL.
NIL deals.
I registered my son the other day for a fall league. He's not even on that level like that. And I get to the end of the cart, and this was for a $25 purchase. It was just it was a tryout. And there was an NIL link. And I went down that rabbit hole. I'm like, oh, shit. They trying to make parents feel like they got a pro player on their hands. And he's good, don't get me wrong, but shit, he's playing against 20-year-olds. He's 14.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a post the other day. I was like, yeah, I can't wait till robots start playing basketball because I'm over this shit now. Like, you can't tell me these dudes that are like have beards like I do and tattoos are 14U.
Yeah. Reclassing and all that.
Come on, man. So back to the shift in the pandemic, guys, we have to dig in. And this is why Champ and I are giving one more run at cryptocurrency and just making sure that everybody's positioned correctly. You understand? So the second half of this talk, we'll get into that. So Kamala now is saying that, yeah, they're ready to work with cryptocurrency. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all see the bullshit, right? I told you from before, and this was one of the major catalysts in the world. At the time where money supply starts to dwindle, what happens around the world it's a time for expansion. Expansion is going to happen in entertainment and Hollywood. This is expansion right now. So when they start that, you seen the mass migration of the CEOs in the music business?
Mm-hmm.
This is expansion right now. Who took over every single exec job in the music industry? Their sons and daughters. Right? So if those guys even did catch a charge, they passed the guard on.
Yep.
Them boys is leaving the country. You understand? Those guys are already positioned to leave the country. Mark my words. Watch how many people leave the country right now. This is what happens. You know, Israel is set up the same way. You know, Israel is a hub for pedophilia. This is where guys go to evade that sort of those charges.
Yep.
That's why it's an ally. Because when I look at the nooks just getting down to like the crust, because all you gotta do is follow the money, right? Every single one of those countries that are all around, I had to look at the map. I'm like, damn, I can't even see Israel on this map. How are they so powerful? Big ass Iran, big ass, all these countries like this, right? They couldn't even fake how small they are.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at every single one of those countries, I look at the policies with America, and it's like those are the only countries that don't accept the rules and regulations that are set forth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, these dudes ain't terrorists. You gotta protect the hood if somebody's coming in. That was the first gang. The first gangs were there to protect the hood, even for like Haitian American, growing up Haitian American, maybe like not really my time, but it was still around there. Like, and I didn't come from Haiti, but when you came from these countries and you had a strong accent, you couldn't speak English, like you got picked on in America.
Yeah.
So of course we had to form Zoe, but I wasn't part of the Zoe wave because I wasn't born in Haiti. There was times I couldn't even like really give it up for my nationality because I felt ashamed. And I was just a kid. I didn't know. And I'm watching this. They're playing out the same script. The only difference now is they got us playing against each other, against these migrants. I don't have a problem with anybody. You understand? But when you start to like put the information out there like that, I have a problem with that information. But then we got to figure it's not the migrants' fault because shit, wouldn't you go to a country and take 150,000 or this or that?
Yeah.
For sure. I'm over it, man. I'm over the fund that they created for the Asians when they said, "Oh, Trump was kung flu and all this other stuff." It's like, man, that shit was funny. What the fuck, man? For the amount of names that we've been calling this country, so what? Just deal with it.
Straight up.
Everybody has to deal with this in this country. The same things that make you laugh make you cry. Same people that love you today hate you tomorrow.
Hate you tomorrow.
We loved the Bulls until they started to win too much. And now we got one of the greatest icons in the world of sport. He's a crying face. He's a meme. You see what mass media does?
Wow.
And they still messing with our greats. And I go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, a couple years ago when we went out there, and I see this big thing on Elvis Presley. And I'm like, oh, they ain't put a story out. This guy's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Elvis Presley. They keep using our people against us to tell false stories, man. That mass media that, those Harpo, without naming who she is, if you know Harpo. Always utilizing these women to just do what they do. And I'm not saying that we don't partake in stuff. I'm just telling you that if you want to make it in this country, just keep your nose clean. You know the difference between right or wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The boys is ready to lock us up any chance they get. I identified that a long time ago. I'm out the way. All the way out the way. It's just too much information out here. Too many ways to get money to have those guys on my back. I haven't been pulled over in decades. In decades. I used to get pulled over all the time prior. I'm a firm believer in what you put out is what you get. Straight up. I don't even see these guys. License right here. No problem. What's up? All right. Okay, cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's it. And I'm not saying that they're not a little out of hand. I'm just telling you that we get triggered by certain things and it creates, a nervous twitch that we may not even see, with our aggression and all this other stuff. And I used to be more aggressive with that one because I knew you wasn't going to catch nothing nervous off me because they'd be like, man, this guy's talking too big to be doing anything out here. Like, listen, give me that ticket. I got to get on my way. Please. Right. So, fourth quarter is all about understanding that we got to get back to the plan 1 and 2. We got to do an updated version of that. We got to look at the WEF. We got to control that with the HOW, right? Those are the systems, right? Then we have to look at the digital IDs. We have to look at the passports. Now, then when we pair that together, we're gonna have a full picture of where people are going in the world. Who wouldn't want to retire on a beach? Just put a one in the chat. If you just without even picking a beach, like who wouldn't want to live their last few, whatever, just easy living? Because I could tell you that, you know, the stuff I'm doing in Detroit right now, and the reason I say that everything is up for sale is because it brings me closer to like what's really happening out here. And when I see like $900, 987 for Social Security, I'm like, yo, what are they talking about? Like my American Express bill be hitting that shit in the first day. What? I'd have to
Crazy.
cut out everything. Just the cost of food is that
Right.
for a family of four.
Straight up.
God. All right, we back on though. So we back on the crypto. We're gonna retool some stuff. Let's get to the second half of this. Listen, just start paying attention. If we have these master classes, start jumping on these things. We're gonna do plan. Well, hopefully, Champ could come up. There's a hurricane coming. So for anybody that's in, I guess south of
Florida,
whatever coming up,
Georgia, yeah. Yeah,
Georgia, just be safe. You know what I'm saying? Go get some water. You know, just have some stuff around. This is why we should always be prepared.
be prepared, yeah.
And you know them storms. You know where all them storms be being. You know where they're formed at too, right?
Absolutely.
That's the ancestors getting to work.
Right in the waters.
Right.
Nah,
So preparedness. We're going to start to break down kind of the newer agencies, the connections between all of them, the agencies, the players, what senators of what states are part of the World Economic Forum, because there's some that aren't. Texas is kind of on its own island right there. So we're just going to start to put plans together for how the American landscape goes. We're going to start to talk about like the doomsday map and what that looks like, guys. Like everybody's going to start to move. So you figure, the fires and everything from California, all the rising tides, right? New York is due for a tsunami at some point, yeah. Right? So we're talking about everything of value is going to be in that middle section right there. So when I bring back real estate, this is the type of stuff that we're looking at. I'm just out of where I'm at in the positions I'm in. It just doesn't work for me, but it would work for somebody else for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm starting over with a blank canvas. So when I bring the real estate thing back again, I'm going to show you guys not real estate in today's sense, looking out. You understand? Because you have to know how to read markets. This is why a lot of people during the pandemic got in trouble. You want to be a landowner? All right. They kind of missed out on some things. It sounds great till it's not. So we in the give back period right now. CEO mass exodus. You stepping down, champ?
Hell
Champ
no.
gonna be next to step down.
Hell no.
I'm stepping down. You step down, I'm stepping down.
Hell nah. We ain't going nowhere. We here. We on this couch together, man. Let's go.
I don't even use that title ever.
Straight up.
I've been wise beyond my years. Now that I look back on it, I'm like, damn, I did know some stuff. I was just conditioned to just be wild and smart wild. Just, yeah. I just did what I needed to do. I've always had entrepreneur spirit, always. And now, the more I look at the economy, the more I look at the academy, hence the pivot at the top of the year from Skyton Crypto University to Skyton Academy. Now it's starting to make sense. So Champ, take us out and then let's get into part 2.
All right, bet. So guys, that was a wild ride. That was .Connect Wednesdays, episode 66. News, updates, real estate, just to summarize it all. Mass exodus of CEOs, the rise of the gig economy, breakdown of the age of revelation and truth, the power of expat life, and Skyton's crypto push. This is all here for you guys. We'll have the replay for you guys. If you are not already subscribed, hit the like, subscribe button. We'll catch you guys on the next episode.